Have you and your friends ever been bored out of your minds? If the answer is yes, you might recall that in some of these instances, you turn to a board game to pass the time. I'm sure we all have our favorites, but have you ever wondered what the most popular board game might be? The answer to this question is the classic and well-known game Monopoly. Let's take a look at the game's inception and see how it has evolved into the major success it still is today. According to Lisa J. Hackett, a lecturer at the University of New England, in her scholarly journal entitled Why Monopoly Monopolizes Popular Culture Board Games, Monopoly was designed by Elizabeth Magie in 1902. Originally, the game was called the Landlord's Game, and despite being responsible for the game's conception, Magie was not credited for it. Instead, Charles Darrow was given the credit. Eventually, Charles Darrow sold the game to the Parker Brothers, a toy manufacturing company, who mass-produced the game in 1935. In its first year of production, the game sold 278,000 units, but in the following year, 1.7 million editions of the game were sold, generating the Parker Brothers millions of dollars in revenue and saving them from bankruptcy. Today, Monopoly is the most popular game of all time, having sold over 275 million copies. Hackett further explains that the Monopoly fanbase is large as well. According to a report, 68% of American households own a version of the game, and 1 in 12 people had played the game at least once by the end of the 20th century. Today, Monopoly has been played by more than 1 billion people and has gone digital in multiple forms and is popular in that space as well. The ability to play the game online with friends or against computers has aided in the game's ability to withstand the test of time. Despite being widely owned, the game is not played nearly as often as other titles. It is ironic that the most popular board game is not considered to be the most fun, nor is it the most played. Hackett explains that in Magie's original vision for the game, it was intended to be fun for only the winner. This is due to the fact that it was meant to be a critique of capitalism and monopolies. This might explain why the game is able to generate animosity amongst players and raise tensions during what might be an otherwise fun game night. Despite this, the game allows players to have a lot of agency and play by their own rules. Hasbro is also very responsive to fans and is constantly innovating to keep the game relevant. The nature of the game makes it applicable to many different environments, which allows for many different versions of the game to be made. Over 1,000 different versions of the game exist today, which is perfect for collectors and contributes to the longevity of the game. These elements help the game remain popular despite what it might be lacking in fun. What started as a critique of capitalism has grown to become the very essence of it. Since its inception, Monopoly has grown exponentially to become the most popular board game in the world. Hasbro continues to innovate, and because of this, it seems like Monopoly won't stop generating profits anytime soon. So next time you find yourself with nothing to do, you might just dust off the Monopoly board yourself, because, let's face it, you probably already own the game.